Hey everybody, this is Jason with Camp Kitaki Worldwide. We've been talking a lot about ways that we can be helpful to our camp families during this time, and we realized that there might be some information that we use when we train our summer staff that could be helpful to parents when they're talking to kids at this point in time. In fact, I want to give a shout out to two people, an alumni named Owen, whose conversation with his own daughter helped us realize that this information was valuable, and an alumni named Kel, who comes out every summer and helps us train our summer staff on this information. But the thing we want to talk about today is helping kids with homesickness. And you might be thinking to yourself, Jason, my kids are home all the time. Homesickness is not the problem. But homesickness is something that we do deal with out at camp on a fairly regular basis, and it's something that I think we have some things that we can be helpful with you on. The thing is, though, is homesickness is about missing the people, places, and structures that make people feel safe and comfortable. And in this case, it's not home that is being missed. It's something different. We've actually learned through the years that kids can experience the emotion of what we call camp sickness when they go home from camp and are missing the people and place and structures of camp. Right now, people are maybe not experiencing either of those things. They're experiencing something a little bit different that, for our purposes, we're going to term social isolation sickness. Social isolation sickness talks about the time that we are in right now. And just like homesickness, kids are missing the people, places, and structures that make them feel safe. And now, what those experiences are things like school. They are things like Thursday night dinner with the grandparents. There are things that they are missing that they're used to in their routine. And so we're going to talk to you about how we talk to our staff about homesickness, because we think it can help you in talking to your kid about social isolation sickness. So one of the nice things about learning some of these tips and tricks about helping kids with social isolation sickness or homesickness or camp sickness for that matter is really they're fundamental to helping kids through anything. That's right. It's going to help you have conversations with your kids about emotional things that they're struggling with that they can learn and grow from, and that will help increase your own connection to your kid. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But it's not just going to be me you're going to be hearing from. You're going to be hearing from the expert herself, one of my good friends. Let's please welcome Matt.
Thanks, Jason. So I think that when we're thinking about how we help our kids, it's important to think about what are the messages we're trying to send. And I think that there are three messages that are fundamental we need to communicate in any time when we're trying to help our kids. And those three messages are, I care about you, it is okay for you to feel this way, and I know you can work through this, and I am here to help. So we're going to break those three down. So the first message is, I care about you. And I think it's really important when we're thinking about how do we communicate this to our kids, that we recognize that our kids are going to pay much more attention to what we do than what we say. And so some tips that we give our staff to help them make sure that they are communicating care are, first of all, getting down on kid level, getting eye to eye with the kid that you're trying to talk to. Now, sometimes that might mean just sitting on the floor with your kid when they are having that hard moment. Or maybe if you are working with your teen who towers above you, asking them to sit by you on the couch. But either way, getting down on their level. This communicates that you respect them and you're interested to hear what they have to say. And you're also in that assuming a staying position. So you want to look like you are ready to listen and not like you're about to bounce and go check on dinner or things like that. And so really try hard to eliminate any kind of distractions. Take your phone and put it out of your pocket. That communicates so much to kids, I think, when we tell them, I'm here to listen to you, and we show them I'm here to listen to you, and nothing's going to get in the way of that. The other thing that's really, really important when you're thinking about how can I communicate I care about you is we need to make sure that we are regulating our own emotions and that we're ready to talk even if our kids are really struggling. Right now, kids might be stressed. Their schedule is disrupted. They might be worried about what's going on in the world. And it makes it really hard for them to control their impulses and regulate their feelings. It's just an extra challenging time. And so they need us to model those calming behaviors. And so if you need to take a second to go and catch your breath and get your calm, that's great. That's a great way to show I care about you, is to tell them, hey, I'm going to need a second so that I can help you best with this situation. One other important message to think about with I Care About You is that sometimes when we're thinking about what we do being more important than what we say, sometimes silence is one of the best ways for us to show I care. If you are willing to just sit there and listen and not talk while your kid is having their big emotion, that makes a really big difference. So the second message is it is okay to feel this way. Maybe your kid is really, really angry because they don't get to go to prom and they've been looking forward to it all year long. That is an okay feeling, and our kids need us to communicate to them that they are experiencing something that is valid, and they need to know that we are hearing and understanding what they're struggling with. And they need some reassurance that those feelings are normal. You know, it's okay to be angry right now. It's okay to feel frustrated that you're missing out on this something that was very important to you. Those mad feelings are all right, and you being mad is not negatively impacting me as your parent in any way, and I don't need you to change your behavior or your feelings just because you're worried about me. Now, when we are thinking about how we communicate to our kids, it's okay to feel this way, I like to think about what we tell our staff about homesickness. Sometimes a kid will be very upset about missing home, and we like to tell our staff, to tell that camper that that's a great thing. Homesickness is great. That means that you have a home where you are loved and cared about, and we are happy that you are missing that. And the same is true with social isolation sickness. We are happy that you have so many good things in your life that you are missing right now, and that you have so many people that you care about. I think as parents, a lot of times our first instinct is to try and fix, but often acknowledgement is all our kids need. Yes, this is a really hard time. And especially if our kids are maybe a little younger, sometimes they might not have the words to express I'm mad or I'm sad that I don't get to see grandma, whatever it might be. And so one other tool that we can use to help them understand that these are okay feelings are to help them name those feelings and reflect back what we're hearing about what their experience is. So again, we've got I care about you. It is okay to feel this way. And finally, the third message we want to communicate is, I know that you can work through this, and I am here to help. Kids aren't looking for us to fix their issues, even though when they come to us, it might sound like that. Really, what they are looking for is to feel like they are heard. And oftentimes, our job as parents is to be working ourselves out of a job and telling our kids and giving our kids the message that you can be okay when I'm not here. You know, when they're adults, we want them to feel that way. And so there's some different steps that we can take on that journey to helping prepare them for adult life. And there are 4 tips that we have, 4 steps to help you with that process of communicating these 3 things to your kids when they're struggling. And those tips are, you're going to ask questions, look for solutions, make a plan, and then check for understanding. So we're gonna break each of those down. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna ask questions. And I think that it's really important that you understand that just like with homesickness, this is what's on their mind right now. You know, missing prom or missing their friends is what's on their mind. And sometimes I think it's really tempting for us to try and distract our kids so that they aren't feeling that emotion, because we don't want our kids to feel sad or angry. But what they need is to know that that feeling is okay. And when we give them permission to talk about it and ask them lots of questions about what were you looking forward to, what are you most sad about, that might in the short term bring up some more emotions for them, but that's a good thing because that's going to help them process through what's going on in healthy ways. And once they've come to that point where they feel like they've expressed everything, or you feel like they've expressed everything that's on their mind, they've talked about whatever it is that they're struggling with for a while, your next step is going to be to help them look for solutions. And I really want to highlight that you are helping them look for solutions. These should be kid-generated. Sometimes our kids might really struggle with coming up with solutions, and so you might need to help guide them some. But the more that those solutions can come from our kids, from our campers, from our children in our lives, whatever it might be, the more that they're going to feel trusted and invested and cared about. And then you need to make a plan. And it's really important, whatever plan you have, you know, if it's FaceTiming grandma a little bit more because you're missing her, that's the plan they come up with maybe. You need to make sure that you can follow through with that plan. Follow through, again, builds trust and helps our kids feel like we're going to be there for them and that they can count on us. And with that, it's really important we tell our staff, make sure you never promise something that you can't commit to, because our kids need that consistency and they need to know that what we say is going to be what's going to actually happen. And if that can't happen, we need to go to our kids and explain to them why and what our steps are going to be. So let's go back to that prom example. The first thing that you're going to do is ask a lot of questions to generate conversation about what's on your kid's heart. So your teen is missing prom. You could ask them questions like, tell me about the perfect prom evening you were hoping for. Whose outfit were you most excited to see? Who are you most looking forward to dancing with? What song did you most want to hear? What part of the night are you most frustrated that you'll be missing? And if you ask those questions and get them talking and give them that space to express what's on their mind, you might eventually come to a point where you feel like they've kind of talked out everything that they needed to. And you might ask them, so what do we want to do about it at that point? And a quick tip, if you ask them for solutions and they get really frustrated and seem like they can't generate any ideas, even with a little bit of prompting, that probably means that you need to back up to step one and ask some more questions. They've still got some talking that they need to do. But once you get to that point, maybe they'll come up with something really brilliant, like, hey, why don't you email Nat and see if she can host a virtual prom for all of your SK friends, or whatever it might be. But help them generate some ideas that are going to make them feel like there is something that they are in control of in this situation. And then you can make a plan. All right, so when are you going to email Nat? If she isn't able to host that for you, what else could you do? And start generating all of the details to make whatever their idea they come up with, whatever solution they come up with, a reality for them. Now, the most important and maybe final step in this process is you need to check for understanding. We need to make sure that our kids have the same idea of what's going to happen as we do. I know for my daughter, sometimes I will say, yeah, we can do that sometime. And what she hears is, we can do that today and in fact right now. And so it's really important to assist your child in reviewing whatever the plan might be to eliminate any confusion and future hurt feelings from something that maybe they thought you were going to be able to deliver on that you aren't able to. So again, we want to communicate that we care about our kids, that their feelings are valid, and that we know they've got this and we're here to help them through it. And we do that by asking questions, looking for solutions, making a plan, and then checking for understanding. And if we do these things, then our kids are going to be more well prepared to deal with this and anything else they might come up against in life. And so now I'm going to turn it back over to my friend Jason.
Thanks, Nat. One of the great things about working at camp and, well, being a human is that there's always friends that we can call upon when we need some help. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to call upon Nat to share some of her knowledge with all of you today. And I'm really hopeful that the information that we shared is helpful in the conversations that you're having with your kids. I know they are really, really difficult conversations in this time, and nothing is going to change that. But hopefully with a couple of these tips and tricks, those conversations will just be a little bit more valuable and will build connection between you and your kid, and will give them an opportunity to continue to see you as a resource and somebody that they can count on. There's a lot happening right now. Our hearts are with you at camp. We're thinking about you, and stay tuned because we're going to keep bringing you more content and we hope is helpful. Till we meet again in the land of the high hills, thanks for watching.